Think back to your school days. Your teacher asks one question. What is the capital of United States? You write Washington, D.C. Done. Simple. One answer, one mark. That's easy to manage. But now imagine you're the teacher. You have 40 students. Each student has 5 subjects. Each subject has theory marks, practical marks, attendance, and grade. And if a student fails in one subject, their overall grade changes, their rank changes, their eligibility for the next year changes. Now you're not just writing one answer, you're managing a system where everything is connected to everything else. If you update one number in the wrong place, the whole mark sheet is wrong, and good luck figuring out where it went wrong. This is exactly what happens in React when your component grows. useState is perfect when you have one question with one answer. But when your state has 5, 6, 7 values, all connected, you need a system. That system is useReducer. Today we're going deep on both of these hooks. We'll start by understanding exactly how useState works and where it breaks down. Then we'll build up to useReducer from scratch. Not just the syntax, but why it's designed the way it is. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which hook to reach for, and your React code will be cleaner, more predictable, and much easier to debug. Let's get into it. Before we talk about useReducer, let's make sure we fully understand useState, because useReducer only makes sense in contrast to it. useState is how you store data that can change inside a component. Here's the classic example, a simple counter. useState gives you 2 things, the current value, count, and a setter function, setCount. You call setCount with the new value, React re-renders. The updated count shows on screen. That's the full cycle. Now this works beautifully for one piece of state. But what if we now add a step, so the user can decide how much to increment by? Still fine. 2 pieces of state, 2 hooks. But now what if we add a min and max limit? What if the user can enable or disable the counter? What if we track a history of all previous values? Now look at your increment handler. It has to call setCount. It has to check against max. If the count changes, it has to push to history. If the count hits max, maybe it sets is active to false. One button click is now touching 4 different state variables in 4 different places. This is where useState starts to hurt. This is exactly the problem useReducer is designed to solve. Let's slow down and understand the concept before the syntax. A reducer is not a React invention. It's a general programming concept. The idea is simple. You have a current state, something happens, an action. A pure function takes that current state and that action and returns the new state. That's it. A reducer is just a function that takes 2 things, the current state and a description of what happened, and returns the next state. Think of it like a bank. Right now you have $10,000 in your account. That's your state. Something happens, you deposit $2,000. That's your action. The bank's rules takes the current balance plus the deposit action and returns the new balance, $12,000. That's the reducer. You never directly say set balance to $12,000. You describe what happened, a deposit of $2,000, and the rules figure out the next state. This is the key mental shift with useReducer. Instead of calling a setter with a new value, you dispatch an action, a description of what happened. The reducer decides what the new state should be. Here's what the syntax looks like. useReducer takes 2 arguments, the reducer function, which contains all your state logic, and the initial state. It returns 2 things, the current state, an object this time, not a single value, and a dispatch function. When the user clicks increment, we call dispatch with an action object. The action has a type property, a string that describes what happened. The reducer receives the current state and this action. It looks at action.type, finds the matching case, and returns the new state. React takes that returned value, updates the state, and re-renders. Same loop as useState, just organized very differently. Let's see that full flow. Dispatch sends an action object to the reducer, which produces a new state that causes the UI to re-render. Notice something important. The reducer function is completely outside the component. All state logic in one place. Clean separation. Now let's see where useReducer truly shines. Remember our counter with 6 state variables? Let's rebuild it with useReducer. First, we collect all our state into one object. Everything lives together. One source of truth. Now we write the reducer. Each case handles one kind of event. Look at the increment case. In one place, we're checking if the counter is active, respecting the max limit, updating the count, updating the history, and updating the isActive flag, all in one atomic update. Decrement case respects min, updates count, logs the history. Look at what just happened. With useState, you'd spread that logic across 4 different set calls in your event handler, hoping you don't miss one. With useReducer, all related logic lives in one case. If something goes wrong, you know exactly where to look, and the component stays completely clean. Here's the component side. It just dispatches events. It doesn't know how state changes. It only says what happened. The reducer decides the rest. This is the master panel. One place. All the logic. Let me explain action objects more clearly, because this is where beginners often get confused. An action is just a plain JavaScript object. It has a type, a string describing the event, and optionally a payload. Any additional data the reducer needs. Think of an action like an SMS. The type is the subject, what happened. The payload is the body. The details. User submitted a form, that's the type. The form data, name, email, password, that's the payload. Here are some examples. No payload needed, the action alone is enough. Payload carries the new value. Payload can be an entire object. One important convention, action types are written in screaming snake case, all capitals, underscores between words. This makes them easy to spot in large code bases. It's not required, but it's the standard you'll see everywhere in professional React code. Now here's something that catches people off guard. The reducer must always return a new state object. Never mutate the existing one. Why? Because React compares the old state reference with the new one. If you return the same object, even if you change properties inside it, React thinks nothing changed and skips the re-render. Always spread. Always return new. With useReducer, state is almost always an object. Easy to break accidentally. Let me show you a real-world example that will make everything click. Imagine you're building a sign-up form. Name, email, password, confirm password. Plus, loading state while the form submits. Plus, an error message if something goes wrong. With useState, this is how most beginners write it. 6 hooks, 6 setters. And when you submit the form, your handler looks like this. Notice how set. Its loading false appears in 2 places. Set error in 2 places. If you forget one, say you're tired, it's 11 p.m., deadline tomorrow, your UI gets stuck showing a spinner forever. Classic bug. Now let's build the same form with useReducer. All 6 fields collected into one initial state object. Field underscore change. One case handles all 4 input fields. Submit underscore start. Sets loading true. Clears any error. Atomically. Submit underscore success. Resets everything back to initial state. Submit underscore error. Sets loading false in the error. Together, always. See how each case describes a real moment in the form's lifecycle. When you dispatch submit underscore error, the reducer automatically sets loading to false and sets the error. In one atomic update. You cannot forget one. They always happen together by definition. The component is now clean and declarative. One handle. Change handler works for all 4 inputs because target.name matches the field name and state, no duplicated handlers. The submit handler only tells the story. Start, success, error. The reducer decides what each moment means for the state. This is how senior developers write forms, and this is how you write code that future you won't hate debugging at 2 a.m. Here's a benefit of useReducer that most tutorials skip over, but it might be the most important one for your career as a developer. Because the reducer is a pure function that lives outside your component, you can test it completely independently of React. No need to render a component, no need to simulate clicks. Just call the function with some state and an action and check what comes back. Here are 3 tests. Pure JavaScript. No React, no testing library. Increment increases count by step. Increment does not exceed max. Reset returns everything to initial state. Every case in your reducer is a unit test waiting to happen. With useState scattered across a component, testing that logic means mounting the whole component and simulating user events. Slow, complex, and fragile. With useReducer, your logic is a pure function. Call it. Assert the output, done in milliseconds. This is exactly why Redux, which is basically a global useReducer, became so popular in large teams. Pure, testable, predictable state logic. When a bug report comes in from production, you want to reproduce it instantly by calling your reducer with a specific state and action. Not by clicking through 5 screens. Predictable state is debuggable state. Now the big question, how do you decide which one to use? Here's the framework I use. 4 questions. Answer them, and the right choice becomes obvious. Question 1. How many pieces of state are you managing? 1 or 2 independent values. Use state. Clean, simple, direct. 3 or more related values. Start thinking, use reducer. Question 2. Do your state updates depend on each other? If updating one thing requires you to also update 2 other things at the same time. Those pieces of state belong together. Atomic updates. Use reducer. If each piece of state is completely independent, count, theme, show modal, useState is perfectly fine for each of them. Question 3. Is your event handler logic getting messy? If your onClick or onSubmit has multiple set calls with conditions between them, that logic belongs in a reducer, not inside your component. Components should describe what happened. Reducers decide what to do about it. Question 4. Do you need to reuse this logic in multiple components? If yes, extract the reducer and either use it directly in multiple components or wrap it in a custom hook. With useState, that kind of reuse is much harder to pull off cleanly. Here's the quick cheat sheet. Use useState for 1 or 2 independent values. Simple and direct. Use useReducer for 3 or more related pieces of state. Use useReducer when you want predictable, testable state logic. These 2 hooks are not enemies. Use both in the same component if needed. Let me give you one last practical pattern. How to migrate from useState to useReducer when your component has grown too large. The process is always the same, 4 steps, every time. Step 1. Collect all your useState calls and turn them into one initial state object. Step 2. For every setter you call somewhere, create a corresponding action type in your reducer. Step 3. Replace each setter call with a dispatch call. Step 4. Move the logic from your event handlers into the relevant reducer cases. Here's a concrete before and after. 3 scattered useState hooks. Items, filter, is loading. Step 1. Collect into initial state. Step 2 and 3. Name the actions, replace the setters. Step 4. Move the logic into reducer cases. Every migration is just this. Name what happened. Move the logic. The component gets cleaner every single time. Let's bring it all together. useState is your go-to hook for simple, independent pieces of state. 1 value, 1 setter, 1 job. When in doubt, start here. useReducer is your power tool for complex, interconnected state. You describe what happened with an action. The reducer decides what the new state should be. Everything predictable, everything in one place. The key difference, useState gives you a seta. Set this to that value. useReducer gives you a dispatcher. This event happened, you figure out the rest. When your event handlers start calling 3 or 4 setters in a row, that's your signal. Extract a reducer. Name your actions. Your component will be cleaner, your bugs will be easier to find, and your tests will practically write themselves. If you want to go even further, the next step is combining useReducer with useContext. That pattern gives you a lightweight global state system without installing any external library. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that video next. If this video helped you, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel grow. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.